Yesterday we started with the DOM traversal. We will look more about it today. So let me first build the HTML and then I will play with the JavaScript part. So this is the grandparent. Okay, so inside the grandparent I will create another div tag. I will name it as parent, and I will another create div tag with the class of parent. So grandparent has two child. This is the one child, name is parent. Another child is also the parent. Okay, I can give the ID to represent it. I can say parent1, and I will say here as a parent2. Here I will say grandparent ID. Okay, so inside the parent1 I will create a div tag with the class of child. So this is the first child. Maybe I can say ID equal to child1, and I will create another div tag with the class of child. So ID should be unique in the page. I cannot repeat the ID, but class can be repeated. We can have the same name of class in the page. Okay, so I will say child2. This is child2. Okay, so similarly, parent2 also has two child with the child name as 3 and 4. Okay, so this is the structure we have. Okay, we will work this again today. So I'll give you 1 minute. Just create this div structure. Then we can work on the HTML JavaScript part. So just build this part. I'll give you 1 minute to do that. Okay, so let's work on this one. So before moving further, I will create one function. Okay, so that we should know what's happening with each of this parent or child. So in the script tag, I will create one function, and name of function will be change color. So I will change the color of grandparent or parent or child based on this function. So this is the generic function. I will pass the element. So for example, for grandparent, I will pass grandparent. So this will take the parameter element, whatever element I want to change the color, and I want to pass the color, which color I want to assign. And so if I want to change the color of grandparent, I can say like that, grandparent dot style dot background color. I want to change the background color of this equal to whatever color I want, maybe hash FFFF, whatever color I want to give, I can give in this format. So since in this function I will be passing this grandparent or child or parent, that will be the element, and I can use same format to change the color. So here I can say element dot style dot background color equal to color. So like I did here, what is the style to change the color? I will take the element and I will take the style, and inside the style I'll change the background color. This style can be used to change any CSS of that element. So right now I'm taking the style and the background color and I'm assigning this color whatever I am passing it. So either I can change the grandparent color like this, or I can call this function and I will pass the grandparent for the element and I can pass the color whatever I want. So this, when I'm calling this change color, it is nothing but this line and this line is same. Here I'm passing grandparent, which is passed here as element, and I change the style background color of that one. So this is the one way. Okay, so before we move further, write this function to change color. Let me know when it's done. Just write on this function. Okay, so you have completed this function. So let's see how the page looks, and I will give some styling to each of these so that I can visualize what is grandparent, what is parent, what is child, and what is everything. Okay, so let me see on the browser how it looks. Okay, so grandparent are all there, but since I have not given any style sheet, so it is not visually available. So let's put some styling and see how it looks. So for example, I will inspect. See, if I inspect, I see the grandparent is there. So let's give some styling to each div. Maybe I can say height of 200 pixel, width of 200 pixel, border of 1 pixel, solid black. So I give these three property to grandparent right now. Okay, let's copy this and give this to the parent. So don't worry about the styling. Don't worry about the styling because this is not a styling class. I'm just giving something so that I can visualize what is parent and grandparent. So don't worry about. Okay, let me give this styling to div tag. Okay, div. So let me give the styling so that I can visualize. Okay, this doesn't look good, kind of thing. Let me give some different styling. Okay, let's give the styling to grandparent. Here I'll say background color equal to maybe initially I'll give some color. Okay, so this is one thing. Let's put this here. Okay, so this is a grandparent. Let's try to put the class for the parent. Okay. So I'll put some style sheet which is maybe, which you may not know now, but for the reference only I'm putting it. So just bear in mind, don't worry about whatever style sheet I will give. You may some of you may know, but some of you may not know. So just now I'm putting few style sheet which I will. So don't worry about the style sheet. I'm just putting some style sheet. Okay, so I'm not explaining style sheet today. Okay, I'm just putting few style sheet so that it looks like I can only show the JavaScript part. Okay, don't worry about what I'm putting in each one. We will go with the style sheet soon when we take the style sheet class, and then we'll see all the properties of it. I'm just giving some colors to each parent, grandparent and child. Okay, let's see. Okay, so at least we can figure out the top one is the grandparent, then we have these two parent, and then we have the child here. If I put here child 1, yes, let's put here child 2, child 3, and child 4. So child here, let's put here parent, parent 2. Okay, and let's put here grandparent. Okay, so only to visualize the different thing, I am just putting the naming convention. Okay, so this is how we have the grandparent, then two parent, and then two child and two child here. Okay, now let's work with the this JavaScript part. So what I will do, I will select the query, I will select the element using document.querySelector or getElementById or by class name or some other way, and I will change the color. So you will see how the color is changed to the element. Okay, so that is the task which we will do. Okay, so first we will take the grandparent. So one way of taking the grandparent, I will comment this. So one way of taking the grandparent is this one. Okay, so I am taking the grandparent by the query selector. So in the query selector, since the grandparent has dot class, so I can take using the dot. But if I want to take using the ID, I would have used this way, hash and the ID name. If I'm using hash, that means I'm using ID name. If I'm using dot, that means I'm accessing using the class. It is up to me, whatever I want to take. Many times we don't have the ID, but we put the class name. So class name is something easily accessible. Now what I will do, here you will see the grandparent color. So now I will do the color, change color of the grandparent. Okay, so let me change the color. So I'll say change color. I'll take the element as a grandparent and I'll change the color to maybe yellow. So you will see the grandparent color is changed to yellow. How I did it? I took the element using document.query selector. Okay, so let's comment this part and we will do it using the second way. So let's use the now ID. So now I'm taking the ID, grandparent ID, and I'll change the color of the grandparent. Let's take the grandparent 2. It is same grandparent because ID is this one. I just name it as grandparent 2. Let's change it to grandparent. So it will be easy for you to understand. So let's change it to maybe blue. So now I'm changing it blue. So first way I took it using the dot. Second way I took it the ID and I was able to change the color in both of the way. Let's comment this one and let's use the third way. Okay, so let's do this one. We'll remove IR3. Now since here I am taking get element by ID, so here I am taking the get element by ID and I am changing it with the get element by ID. So here I don't have to put the hash sign. Why I am not putting hash sign? Because it is already saying that get element by ID. So therefore I'm not taking the get element by, therefore I'm not putting the hash sign here. So now it is red. So in all three ways we were able to change the color. This we will take in a minute. So just forget about it now. Okay, so in either three cases I was able to change color of the grandparent. Now let's change the color of parent. Now parent, we have two parents, parent 1 and parent 2. What if I want to take the both element, parent 1 and parent 2? So let's take the parent element. So I will write down var parent equal to document dot get element by class name. Since I want to access both the parent, if I use this way as dot this, then query selector takes only the one element. It will not take the multiple elements. If we want to take multiple elements, we have to use query selector all. There is another way, query selector all, which we'll see in a bit. But let's try to access the parent by get element by class name. And I will say parent. Let's see what I'm getting for the parent. So I'm getting the HTML collection and it is 2, that is 2 parents are there, therefore I'm getting 2. So to use it in my JavaScript, I have to convert this HTML collection to the array. So to convert it into array, I can say array.from. When I say array.from, that means it will take the collection and convert it into the array. So if I now see, if I refresh, I am getting parent in the array format and I can access either parent 1 or parent 2. Since it is array, it is starting from 0 and 1. So next way to access the element is, I did not told you to copy this because yesterday we did it. Now when we write the parent, I will ask you to write down. Give me a few minutes. So what I did class name and I took the parent. And since class name is a collection, to modify it using the array, we cannot do it using the collection. we have to convert into the array using this method array.from. It takes the collection and convert into the array. Okay, so we will see in detail about array.from later when we do array part. Right now only just think that collection is converted to array using this keyword and I get the parent kind of thing. Now what I will do, I will change the color of each of the parent. So for example, if I want to change the color of first parent, I can say parent of 0 and whatever color I want, for example yellow. So only the first parent got changed to yellow. I can say parent 1 to yellow, then parent, these both are getting yellow color. I could have used the for loop by saying parent so there are different way of for loop. One of the easiest way of for loop, I don't want to go into that part. So right now just we can use normal for loop. For there are different for loops we can use for I equal to 0, I less than parent dot length I plus plus. Okay, here I will use parent of I to red color. So we'll see parent has become red color. I can say blue color also. So what I did, I accessed all the parent using the document.get element by class name and I convert to array and then I use the for loop to change the color. So these are the few old methods and this is the another method for which we can access the DOM. So just write down this part because this already you have done yesterday. Just write down this part in 1 minute. Can I see the CSS for parent and child? So since we are doing, see background color of parent is going blue and background color of another parent is also blue. But when I access the child, it has a default color which I gave. But for parent, this is the default color I gave and I change it using JavaScript to the blue color. Okay. So what is padding? So padding is generally, you know, this border is there and the space between border and this text is called padding. So right now I put the padding to give some spacing, which you don't want to worry now. I will talk in detail about the padding and margin in few days. So for now, I will just only tell you that the space inside the border till grandparent. So that is the space is called padding. So don't worry about padding now. We want to learn the DOM traversal. So for this class, only worry about this this document.get element by class name. So how I am accessing the DOM, that is what you have to concentrate. So first one way of accessing is this. Then we are accessing the element using this, and there are many other methods which I will tell you today for which I can access the element. Okay, I hope everybody has done this part. Let's move further. So I will comment this part now. So what will happen if I select the parent using document.query selector and I will say parent.parent. Okay, what will happen now? Now if I try to change the color, I will do console.log of parent and I will change color of parent to yellow. Let's see what will happen now. So you will see, let me open the browser, wait. You will see only the first parent is changed, and in the console.log I can see only the parent 1, not the parent 2. So the query selector, this query selector only selects the first element, whichever is possible with this part. Let's say this is the dot parent. So since we have two parents, one and this, with the query selector I will not be able to access the second parent. It will only take the first matching criteria, that is the parent, the first one. So if I want to take all the parents, I can use this get element by class name, or there is another way to access it, that is called, I will write on that. So I can say var parent equal to document dot query selector all. So if I say query selector all, it is similar as what we get from this one. So I will be able to access all the parents. So here I will say dot parent. Now if I do console.log of parent, it will be all. Let's check it. Here I am getting parent of all node list 2. Since it is also the node list, not the array, so we have to convert into array to make it available in our code. I will say array from. Okay, and then I will get array. Here is an array. And I can use the same way, like I did this for loop, I can use the same way here. So it is changed, both are changed because I use the query selector all. So if we want to access all the elements and you want to use query selector, so it is better to use query selector all and not the query selector. Generally, query selector is the best way, or query selector are the best way to access the elements. This get element by ID or get element by class name are not used much. These two are used most of the time. So just write down this query selector all in 1 minute. I'll give you 1 minute to write down this part. So this color is changed to blue. Okay, so now the task for you. So the task is like this. You have to change the color of all the child to white. Okay, change the color of all the child to white, and you have to write the code similar to what I have written like this. So you have to go with the child and just paste in the chat your code. Change the change the all child color to white, background color of child to white, and give me the code. How will you change the background color of child of all the child 1, child 2, child 3, child 4? I'll give you 1 minute to do that, and just once you're done, paste your code. Okay, so I got the first one from the gate. So it's saying that document.query selector all, and it's saying child inside it. So if you see the DOM element, if you see the DOM element, we don't have the capital child, and all the class should be used with the dot sign. So you have to say dot child. If you have written capital, it's fine. If your class is capital child, then it's fine, but you should use dot. And if it is small, you have to use small child, small c, and put dot ahead of it. I don't see dot ahead of it. And change color is a function which takes the element and the color, and you use child.change color instead of change color in the bracket child. So you have to use the change color by passing the element, not the child.change color. So change color and element is child, and color whatever color you want to give. Rakesh child, and yeah, we have to use array from, because we have to use all the child. So you have to use array from, because otherwise you will not be able to loop through it. Okay, so let's go with the Rakesh. Array from. Okay, so this line is right, and the for loop. Okay, here you use dot child, but also use array from. Otherwise, you will not be able to loop through. Okay, Kate and Rakesh have tried it. Okay, let's do now. So we have seen the query selector all, query selector, get element by class name, get element by ID. So in practical use, you try to use get query selector if there is only one element you want to access it, and use it get query selector all if you want to use multiple elements. So this is the something you have to finalize. Either use, I will write down here, for practical purpose, use get query selector for one element if you want to access only one element, or use query selector all for multiple elements. Okay, so this is your standard. You use either this or this. Don't use element by ID. Don't make multiple things, because element ID can be accessed with get query selector or this one, either of this one. Okay, so this is the practical advice. Okay, Anand has given, let me see what Anand is saying. Array from right, for loop right. Okay, so Anand has given correct response. Ole has given same thing, correct. It's correct, both are correct. Okay, so let's go. Okay, let's see one more now. So if I want to access the child one, this one, let's access this child one. Okay, this is the original one. Let's access the child one here. So I'll say var child one equal to document dot query selector, and I will say hash child one. Since I want to access only the child one, I will use the ID, and ID of child one is child one. Since I have to use ID, I am using hash sign. Now I will do the console.log of child one. Okay. Now if I want to access the parent of this child one, so if I want to access the parent of child one, okay, this part, and I don't want to mention the parent here, I just want to access the parent of child one. So I'll do like this one. So if I want to access parent of child one, so I will say var parent equal to child one dot parent element. I will say parent element. Once I say parent element, it will automatically go to this parent element and give me that one. And I will change the color of this parent element. So let me change the color of the parent element. I will say change color parent, and I'll change it to white, for example. See, white is changed. So I took only the child one and I accessed the parent of child one using the parent element. And I was able to access, this is the child one and this is the parent one, because parent of child is parent one. That's why I'm able to see parent one. So everybody write down this, how to access. Here I will name it as going up from down. So here what we are going? We are going up from down. We are accessing the child and then we are accessing the parent. So just do this part. Okay, so if you are done with this part, I will give you one task for it. Now you have the child and you access the parent. Now you access the grandparent from the parent. So you have the parent element here. Now you have to access the grandparent, that is this part, using this parent. So do it and let me know how will you access. Yes, grandparent equal to parent dot parent. Since I want to access the grandparent, so I can say, I will write down here again. Since I want to access the grandparent, I will say grandparent is equal to parent dot parent element. And I will say grandparent is grandparent, and I will change the grandparent color to yellow. So let's see how it looks. Okay, yellow. So initially I took the child one, get the parent one, and get the grandparent one. Same thing I can do for child 2, child 3, child 4. The result of child 1 and child 2 will be this parent. Result of child 3 and child 4 will be this parent. Yes, Rakesh and Kate both are correct. Okay. So another task is, how will I access the grandparent directly from the child 1? So I don't have this parent. I don't want to put this parent part. So let's take this and let's comment this. And I will write down here, I have child 1. Let's change the color of child 1 to white, for example. Okay, so I have the child 1. Okay, so I have the child 1 and the color of it is white. Okay, this one I'm taking it. And now I want to access the grandparent directly without accessing the parent. I know how to access the parent by child 1 dot parent element, and then parent dot parent element I can access the grandparent. So let's try to access the grandparent directly up from the child 1. Okay, so to access the grandparent directly from the child 1, I will write down like this one. I will say, so there is a keyword called as use closest, which goes upward direction. So it goes upward direction, not the downward direction. So how to use the closest? I will say var grandparent equal to child 1 dot closest. So if there are many of the grandparent class, I want the closest to the child 1. I will say child 1 dot closest, and in the bracket I will say dot grandparent. So what it will do, it will take the child 1, this element, and it will match the closest with this class. So if we have another class with the grandparent, which is maybe above it or below it kind of thing, this will find the closest of the grandparent and it will give me that element. And then I will want to change the color of that to yellow. Okay, so let's see how it looks. So it's not working. Okay, I have to use the grandparent to yellow. So grandparent is yellow. So what I'm doing now, I'm not accessing the parent. I'm directly accessing the grandparent using the keyword closest and passing the class of the grandparent. So there may be many grandparents, but the closest one will be the parent of this child one, and it goes in the upward direction. So this is only 2 levels. Tomorrow it may have 10 levels. So I want something closest to the child one in the upward direction. So I'm using a grandparent example here, and it will find the grandparent which is closest to this child. So we are not accessing the parent now. We are directly accessing the grandparent. We can go multiple levels also. Right now there are 3 levels, but it can be 10 level or 12 levels also. So right now what I'm doing, I'm using the closest keyword to access the grandparent. Just write down this 5 lines of the code. Okay, so I think everybody has, sorry I moved up, everybody has done this. If you're not done, just do it again. Let's do the last part of today's class. Maybe I will comment it, but it's there. So let's do the last part of today's class, and that will be selecting the siblings. Selecting the siblings. So siblings means this child 1 is there, and the sibling of child 1 is child 2. So both are adjacent, or both are inside one div tag. So these two are brothers. Child 1 and child 2 are brothers. So that means these are siblings. So if I have child 1, how to access child 2? Or if I have child 2, how to access child 1? That's what we are going to see it now. So it's called selecting the siblings. So let's take the child 1. I will take the child 1 here. I'll copy this child 1 part. Now I have the child 1. Now I want to access the child 2. So to access the child 2, I will say var child 2. I could have done same thing like this. I could have taken the child 2 is equal to child 2. This is one way, but I want to do it using the child 1, not using this one. So I want to use child 1 to access the child 2. So to access the child 2 using child 1, I will say child 1 dot next element sibling. So when I say next element sibling, it will take child 2, and I can change the color of child 2 to yellow. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm getting the child 1 using the ID, then I'm using the child 1 dot next element sibling, and that will be the child 2 because the next element is child 2, and then I will get color yellow for child 2. So this is child 2 is yellow because we took the child 1 and accessed the child 2. Like this, if I want to access, if I have child 2 and I want to access the child 1, I will use the following command. So I'll say var child previous is equal to child 2. So I have child 2 now, but I want to access child 1. I will say previous element sibling. So this is actually child 2 because I have taken the, no, this is a child 2 and I'm trying to access child 1 using the child 2, and then I'll change the color of previous child to white. So let's check this. One second, let me open the browser. So see, I changed the child 1 to white, but how I access the child 1? Using the sibling command of child 2. Though I could have used directly child 1 and I could have changed the color, but I wanted to show you the previous element sibling, that if we have anything, I can access the previous sibling or next sibling. So if we have multiple siblings, we can go next, and we can check the next. So just choose this one. Write down this 6 lines of the code. Okay, so this is all about the DOM traversal, and you should remember that React is only 10% of code. Everything which we do inside the React project also is complete JavaScript. So the understanding of JavaScript is must before we really do the good project in the React.js. Because in React part, I will only take the 10% of the real React code, and all 90% will be other JavaScript. Okay. Okay, I will create the page for it so that you can practice it whenever you want. So you can practice it whenever you want. Let's create a page and I will give you the page. Do you have any questions?
Sir?
Yeah.
Sir, can we target child 3 or child 4 using grandparent?
So to access the child 3 and child 4, you have to use, you want to go from top to bottom or bottom to top?
Send from grandparent to child 3 or 4.
Okay, let me show you. One second. Let me show you. See, this if you want to access the child, uh, if you want to access the child, you can go to the grandparent, right, and do the grandparent directly, right, and inside that grandparent you get the element of, let me show you, okay, one second. Okay, so you get the grandparent, and to you know, from the top to bottom you have to use this method, either of this method, but from the bottom to child you have to use this method. So for going into the child, you have to use uh, you have to use first the grandparent, and from grandparent you can go all that bottom also. So like you know, what we can do, what we did, the grandparent is here, wait, and we have to got select this one, parent. Yeah, so there are the two ways. One, we have to go from top to bottom. If you want to go to from the top to bottom, then you need to use this way of the query selector. Whatever query selector you have to use it, and from bottom to up you have to use this way. But you are saying you want to access from grandparent to child 3 and 4. Okay, let me see what I can do. Okay, give me 1 minute, okay?
Sir, you told that.
Yeah, tell me.
So using get element by class name, we can access class list,
Right.
and then access
Right.
the child.
Yeah. Yeah, I will. So whatever. Give me 1 minute. I'll tell you what exactly it means. Okay. Yeah. So okay. So what I missed one part from here. I forgot to explain one part here. I thought I have completed all the things. So let me show you one more thing which was pending. Good, you brought this question here. So let me go it again. So let's go to the grandparent. Okay, let's go to grandparent again. So this is my grandparent, right? And now what I want to do, I want to see the children of this grandparent. Okay, so I have one more command which I missed to explain you, and that command is called the children command. So if I do console.log grandparent, and the grandparent is here, okay, and then what I will do, I want to go to children command. So if I want to see the children of the grandparent, I can use grandparent.children. Okay, so this is the children. Okay, let's see what is coming. So I forgot to explain you about the children. Let's do this one. So if I go children, you will see that two collections are there. That is the parent 1 and parent 2. So let's convert this. I will say var children var parents equal to I will use grandparent.children. Since it is coming as HTML collection, so I have to use array from to convert this to array. Then I get, let me print this parents. Okay, so what I did, parents. So I'm getting parents. Now I can loop through the parents like this. I can loop through the parents like I looped it here. Let's loop it again. Okay, so let's loop through the parents. So I change it to blue, and if I want to access child 3 and child 4, so either I can loop it again inside 8 for child 3 and child 4, or I can directly loop through. So I will find the children like this. So if I want to directly find the children 3 and 4, then I can take the parents 1 dot children. So if I say parent 1 dot children, then it will give me the parent 1 children, that is this one, because this is the 0th level, that this is the 1 level, though it is called parent 2, but I am accessing 1, that means I am accessing this one, and I can write, I can change the color of children 3 and 4 to white. So this way you can go to traverse to down and down. So when you go from when you go up from down, you have different methods to access it. But when you go from top to bottom, you have to go, if you know directly the class, then you can directly call it. Otherwise, you can go one level, then inside it for loop it, and go to another level and go inside like this. You have to traverse like this one. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is called a traversing down. I will say traversing down. Okay, I have that in my notes, but I forgot to explain that previously. But now he pointed out, then I looked into my notes, and I say missed to explain this children part. So this children part is important, because if you have only the top level, if you want to go down and down, so you have to do for loop and go down and down. But with that, when we want to go to up from down, then we have this parent element, and then we have the closest part, and then we have the next sibling, previous sibling. These three are only working. This is adjacent part, and this part is going from down to up. This is the how. And if we want to go from top to bottom, we will go using this method. Getting the children, and then again getting the children, again getting the children. We go down and down to the level, wherever we want to reach it. Otherwise, we should know exactly what I want to target. So if I want to target this class, directly I can target this class or ID this class. But if I don't have this class here, I just want to access using the parent, then I have to use the children command. So this is the children one. Okay. Okay, that's it for today. Any other question?